finally get your book done without writing a word. We will help you finally release the story that's been living inside you and turn it into a beautifully finished book you can hold in your hands. That's the promise. And for most people watching this, that's something you've wanted for years. And here's the truth I've learned after working with countless storytellers, survivors, creatives, mothers, and women who have lived big lives. It's not that you can't write a book. It's that writing was never the right medium for you in the first place. Here's why. You think in stories. You process by talking. Your memories come alive through conversation, not by staring at a blank page. And that is exactly why I created Finally Get Your Book Done. It is not typical ghostwriting. It is not AI-generated filler. It is not a template, a do-it-yourself workbook, or another system that guilts you into pretending that someday you will finally find the time. This is live writing storytelling, a method I invented that turns your spoken memories into a fully written memoir while you talk. You speak. A trained writer listens, organizes, and writes your story with you as it's being told. Then they read it out back to you, making sure every sentence sounds exactly like you, or the version of you that has finally found the right words. Now let me be clear who this is not for. If you want to make money from a book, if you want a bestseller strategy, if you're looking for someone to market or promote it for you, then we are not the right fit. We do not promise revenue. We do not promise fame, and we do not take royalties. This is for people who need to tell their story because they can't not tell it. It is for women who've lived through something that changed them. Trauma, loss, triumph, reinvention, and know their story deserves to be documented. It is for mothers, grandmothers, and elders who want their children and grandchildren to know who they really were. It is for people who've carried stories for decades and are finally ready to let it out of their head and onto the page. And if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. But if you're not an expert in your own lived experience, and if you don't have a story you need to tell, then this process won't work for you. And that's okay. Because the people it is for, this experience is life-changing. Traditional ghostwriting. It's slow, it's disconnected, it can easily cost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And most of the work happens away from you. Drafts are written offline, revised later, and returned after long gaps, days, weeks, months, which can leave you feeling removed from the process and unsure if the book sounds like you. And doing it yourself? Good luck. That is how most people end up with half-finished Google Docs, scattered journal entries, and 40 different attempts over 10 years. And what about AI? It can imitate a voice, but it can't understand a childhood memory. It cannot hold space for your story, and it certainly can't tease out the parts of your life that you've forgotten or tucked away. But with my method, the live writing method, you never write. You never outline, you never get stuck, you never freeze at the blank page. Because all you do is talk. Our writers, all US-based, all personally trained in my method, guide you conversation by conversation. They ask you questions you'd never think to ask yourself. They uncover memories you didn't realize you remembered. They help you stitch together your story in a way that is coherent, powerful, emotional, and true. And because you hear your story read out loud back to you, you immediately know, yes, that's me, or no, that's not quite right, and we fix it right then and there. No other service offers this. No ghostwriting agency does this. No AI tool can replicate this. This is an experiential writing process, and for many of our clients, a healing one. And who am I? I am not someone who just decided this sounded like a cute idea. My name is Amanda Botfeld. I am a published author. I have written for the Wall Street Journal, the Los Angeles Times, and the Huffington Post. I developed this method because I saw how many people had incredible stories, but for whatever reason, couldn't write them. Other companies will tell you they can turn your life into a book, but most of them have never done it themselves. I have. I invented the method. I trained my writers. I've guided this process over and over and over. But don't hear it from me. Hear it from our clients. Terry says, I've wanted to write a book about my life as far back as 1997. I jumped out on a limb, honestly thinking, these people are going to think I've lost my mind. It was actually just the opposite. After speaking with Amanda, the owner, I decided to give it a shot. Within a week, I was introduced to a writer who matched up perfectly with me. Christina says, what an absolute gift finding Amanda and finally get your book done has been to me. My book is done and available for purchase. This would not have happened if not for the encouragement, the support, and the hard work by Amanda B, Amanda L, Amanda in cover and layout design. I hire a lot of Amandas on my team. And my husband for believing in this project. Michelle says, I have been working feverishly to finally tell my story. Rosalie, her writer, and I are having quite a time. She knows how to bring out the best in your manuscript. As well, with every session, I feel invigorated and empowered. I am standing in my authentic truth, and I am loving it. Chantel says, writing a memoir is no easy task, especially when you're writing about past traumatic events. As someone who has chosen to do a lot of hard things on my own, I found that when it came to this, I couldn't. I needed help with it. Although I know there is no shame in asking for help, when it came to how personal and sensitive I was about my story, I was afraid to allow someone in to help me tell it. I am so happy to have fought through my fear and allowed this process to unfold the way it has. We have 5-star reviews from women who were terrified to start, who tried for years, who didn't think they were worth the investment, and after working with us, finally held their book in their hands. Not someday, not maybe, not one day, but finally. Now, the biggest objection we hear is price. Is my story worth it? Should I spend this much on a book that won't make me money? Let me say this clearly. This is not about monetary return on investment. This is about legacy. This is about telling the truth about your life. This is about giving your children and grandchildren a piece of you that would otherwise disappear. And while this service is a financial investment, we make it as accessible as possible so that real people, not just celebrities, can finally finish their books. And because our entire process happens live with no homework, no writing assignments, no waiting weeks and months for drafts, many of our authors finish their books within 3 to 6 months, and sometimes even faster. Compared to traditional ghostwriting timelines of 8 to 12 months, that's not just efficient, it is borderline revolutionary. Here is the exact process, step by step. 1. We match you with a trained US-based writer. A writer specifically trained in memoir and legacy storytelling who knows how to listen, ask the right questions, and shape meaning from real life. 2. You meet with your writer online over Zoom video call and you talk. That's it, you talk. Your writer types your story down as you speak. 3. She reads it back to you out loud. This is where the magic happens. You hear your story with clarity for the first time. You approve lines, refine wording, and shape your narrative in real time. 4. We format it with our signature interior design. No templates, no cookie-cutter layouts. Every book is beautiful, personal, and unique. 5. we design your custom book cover. You'll have a physical custom book that feels like you. 6, you keep 100% of your rights. We don't take royalties, ever. It is your story, your voice, your book. 7, and at the end, you finally get to hold the story you've carried for years. Finished, thoughtful, true. So if you're someone who has lived through something meaningful, something difficult, something beautiful, something important, and you've always known you needed to write it, we can make that happen for you. Easier, faster, and more authentically than anything else you've tried. Because we've done it over and over and over again. And because we care deeply about the stories people carry. There is a short application form below this video. Fill it out. Tell us a bit about your story. If it's a good fit, my team will invite you to a free Zoom session to answer any questions you have and find out if finally get your book done is right for you. And if it's not a fit, that's completely okay, but at least you'll know. You won't keep wondering. You have nothing to lose by applying, and you have a book, your book, to finally gain. Your story deserves to be told. Let's finally get it done.